The Confession of Faith, Chapter 5, of Providence, Section 4. The almighty power, unsearchable wisdom, and infinite goodness of God so far manifest themselves in His providence that it extendeth itself even to the first fall and all other sins of angels and men, and that not by a bare permission, but such as hath joined with it a most wise and powerful bounding, and otherwise ordering and governing of them, in a manifold dispensation to His own holy ends, yet so, as the sinfulness thereof proceedeth only from the creature, and not from God, who being most holy and righteous, neither is, nor can be, the author or approver of sin. Question 1. Doth the almighty power, unsearchable wisdom, and infinite goodness of God so far manifest themselves in His providence, that it extendeth itself even to the first fall and all other sins of angels and men, and hath not a bare permission, but such as hath joined with it a most wise and powerful bounding, and otherwise ordering and governing of them, in a manifold dispensation to His own holy ends? Answer: yes. Romans 11, verses 32 through 34, 2 Samuel 24, verse 1, 1 Kings 21, verses 22 and 23, 1 Chronicles 10, verses 4, 13, and 14, 2 Samuel 16, verse 10, Acts 14, verse 16, Psalm 76, verse 10, 2 Kings 19, verse 28, and Genesis 50, verse 20. Romans 11, verses 32 through 34. For God hath concluded them all in unbelief, that He might have mercy upon all. O the depth of the riches, both of the wisdom and knowledge of God! How unsearchable are His judgments, and His ways past finding out. For who hath known the mind of the Lord, or who hath been His counselor? 2 Samuel 24, verse 1. And again the anger of the Lord was kindled against Israel, and He moved David against them to say, Go number Israel and Judah. 1 Kings 21, verses 22 and 23. And will make thine house like the house of Jeroboam the son of Nebat, and like the house of Baasha the son of Ahijah. For the provocation wherewith thou hast provoked me to anger, and made Israel to sin. And of Jezebel also spake the Lord, saying, The dog shall eat Jezebel by the wall of Jezreel. 1 Chronicles 10, verse 4. Then said Saul to his armor-bearer, Draw thy sword, and thrust me through therewith, lest these uncircumcised come and abuse me. But his armor-bearer would not, for he was sore afraid. So Saul took a sword and fell upon it. And verses 13 and 14. So Saul died for his transgression which he committed against the Lord, even against the word of the Lord, which he kept not, and also for asking counsel of one that had a familiar spirit to inquire of it, and inquired not of the Lord. Therefore he slew him, and turned the kingdom unto David, the son of Jesse. 2 Samuel 16, verse 10. And the king said, What have I to do with you, ye sons of Zeruiah? So let him curse, because the Lord hath said unto him, Curse David. Who shall then say, Wherefore hast thou done so? Acts 14, verse 16. Who in times past suffered all nations to walk in their own ways. Psalm 76, verse 10. Surely the wrath of man shall praise thee, the remainder of wrath shalt thou restrain. 2 Kings 19, verse 28. Because thy rage against me and thy tumult is come up into mine ears, therefore I will put my hook in thy nose, and my bridle in thy lips, and I will turn thee back by the way by which thou camest. Genesis 50, verse 20. But as for you, ye thought evil against me, but God meant it unto good, to bring to pass, as it is this day, to save much people alive. Thus all those which maintain that the Lord only concurs to sinful actions by a bare, naked, and idle permission are confuted, because, number 1, the Scripture says that the Lord blinds their eyes and hardens their hearts, even actively and judicially. John 12, verse 40, Exodus 7, verse 3, Deuteronomy 2, verse 30, and Romans 9, verse 18. John 12, verse 40. He hath blinded their eyes and hardened their heart, that they should not see with their eyes nor understand with their heart, and be converted, and I should heal them. Exodus 7, verse 3. And I will harden Pharaoh's heart, and multiply my signs and my wonders in the land of Egypt. Deuteronomy 2, verse 30. But Sihon, king of Heshbon, would not let us pass by him. For the Lord thy God hardened his spirit, and made his heart obstinate, that he might deliver him into thy hand, as appeareth this day. Romans 9, verse 18. Therefore hath he mercy on whom he will have mercy, and whom he will he hardeneth. Secondly, God is said to punish one sin with another. Romans 1, verses 24, 26, and 28, and 2 Thessalonians 2, verses 11 and 12. Romans 1, verse 24. Wherefore God also gave them up to uncleanness through the lusts of their own hearts, to dishonor their own bodies between themselves. Verse 26. For this cause God gave them up unto vile affections, for even their women did change the natural use into that which is against nature. And verse 28. And even as they did not like to retain God in their knowledge, God gave them over to a reprobate mind, to do those things which are not convenient. 2 Thessalonians 2, verses 11 and 12. And for this cause God shall send them strong delusion, that they should believe a lie, that they all might be damned, who believe not the truth, but had pleasure in unrighteousness. Number 3, from the practice of Job and David, who when they were afflicted and persecuted looked to God and took it patiently. Job 1, verse 21. Job 1, verse 21. And said, Naked came I out of my mother's womb, and naked shall I return thither. The Lord gave, and the Lord hath taken away. Blessed be the name of the Lord. Question 2. In what way may we say that God concurs in the act of sin? Answer. We must first distinguish 3 things in the sin. Number 1, the entity of the act itself, which has the relation of material. Number 2, the disorder or wickedness joined with it, which gives it its formal. Number 3, the consequent judgment, which is the adjunct of the sin. As to the first, God concurs it effectively and physically, not only by conserving the nature, but by exciting its motions and actions by a physical motion as being good naturally. Acts 17, verse 28. Acts 17, verse 28. For in him we live and move and have our being, as certain also of your own poets have said, for we are also his offspring. As to the third, which is related to the judgment of God, which is joined with sin, not of itself in relation to the sinner, who thinks or intends no such thing, Genesis 50, verse 20, and Isaiah 10, verses 5 through 7. Genesis 50, verse 20. But as for you, ye thought evil against me, but God meant it unto good, to bring to pass as it is this day, to save much people alive. Isaiah 10, verses 5 through 7. O Assyrian, the rod of mine anger, and the staff in their hand is mine indignation. I will send him against an hypocritical nation, and against the people of my wrath will I give him a charge, to take the spoil and to take the prey, and to tread them down like the mire of the streets. But accidentally, in relation to God permitting sins and ordaining them to a good end beyond their own nature. As to the second, God can be neither its physical cause, because he neither inspires nor infuses, nor does it, nor its ethical cause, because he neither commands nor approves and persuades, but most severely forbids and punishes it. Question 3. Doth sinfulness of the action proceed only from the creature and not from God? Answer. Yes. James 1, verses 13, 14, and 17, 1 John 2, verse 16, Psalm 50, verse 21. James 1, verses 13 and 14. Let no man say when he is tempted, I am tempted of God. For God cannot be tempted with evil, neither tempteth he any man. But every man is tempted when he is drawn away of his own lust and enticed. And verse 17, every good gift and every perfect gift is from above, and cometh down from the Father of lights, with whom is no variableness, neither shadow of turning. 1 John 2, verse 16, for all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh, and the lust of the eyes, and the pride of life, is not of the Father, but is of the world. Psalm 50, verse 21. These things hast thou done, and I kept silence. Thou thoughtest that I was altogether such an one as thyself, but I will reprove thee, and set them in order before thine eyes. Thus do all err and blaspheme, who make God to be the author and cause of all sin in its moral pollution, because, number 1, David's testimony is to the contrary in Psalm 5, verse 4. Psalm 5, verse 4. For thou art not a God that hath pleasure in wickedness, neither shall evil dwell with thee. Secondly, as is that of Moses in Deuteronomy 32, verse 4. Deuteronomy 32, verse 4. He is the rock, his work is perfect, for all his ways are judgment, a God of truth and without iniquity, just and right is he. Thirdly, also Daniel in Daniel 9, verse 14. Daniel 9, verse 14. Therefore hath the Lord watched upon the evil, and brought it upon us. For the Lord our God is righteous in all his works which he doeth, for we obeyed not his voice. Fourthly, added to that of James in James 1, verse 13. James 1, verse 13. Let no man say when he is tempted, I am tempted of God. For God cannot be tempted with evil, neither tempteth he any man. Fifthly, John's testimony in 1 John 1, verse 5 and 1 John 2, verse 16. 1 John 1, verse 5. This then is the message which we have heard of him, and declare unto you that God is light, and in him is no darkness at all. 1 John 2, verse 16. For all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh, and the lust of the eyes, and the pride of life, is not of the Father, but is of the world. Sixthly, the testimony of Paul in Romans 3, verses 3 through 5. Romans 3, verses 3 through 5. For what if some did not believe? Shall their unbelief make the faith of God without effect? God forbid. Yea, let God be true, but every man a liar. As it is written, that thou mightest be justified in thy sayings, and mightest overcome when thou art judged. But if our unrighteousness commend the righteousness of God, what shall we say? Is God unrighteous who taketh vengeance? I speak as a man. Seventhly, additionally the testimony of Habakkuk, in Habakkuk 1, verse 13. Habakkuk 1, verse 13. Thou art of purer eyes than to behold evil, and canst not look on iniquity. Wherefore lookest thou upon them that deal treacherously, and holdest thy tongue when the wicked devoureth the man that is more righteous than he? The following reasons also display the confutation of such opinions. First, God is in the highest degree, essentially and infinitely holy, good, and therefore pure and free from every spot or blemish. Isaiah 6, verse 3. Psalm 78, verse 41. 1 Peter 1, verses 15 and 16, and Leviticus 11, verse 44. Isaiah 6, verse 3. And one cried unto another, and said, Holy, holy, holy is the Lord of hosts. The whole earth is full of his glory. Psalm 78, verse 41. Yea, they turned back and tempted God, and limited the Holy One of Israel. 1 Peter 1, verses 15 and 16. But as he which hath called you is holy, so be ye holy in all manner of conversation, because it is written, Be ye holy, for I am holy. Leviticus 11, verse 44. For I am the Lord your God. Ye shall therefore sanctify yourselves, and ye shall be holy, for I am holy. Neither shall ye defile yourselves with any manner of creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth. Secondly, God is absolutely perfect, and therefore he cannot fail or be deficient in working. Thirdly, God is the judge of the whole world. He is the forbidder, hater, and revenger of all sin and unrighteousness, as contrary to his own holy nature and law. Romans 2, verses 5 and 6. Genesis 18, verse 25. Romans 1, verse 17. Psalm 5, verse 4. Romans 2, verses 5 and 6. But after thy hardness and impenitent heart, treasureth up unto itself wrath against the day of wrath and revelation of the righteous judgment of God, who will render to every man according to his deeds. Genesis 18, verse 25, That be far from thee to do after this manner, to slay the righteous with the wicked, and that the righteous should be as the wicked, that be far from thee. Shall not the judge of all the earth do right? Romans 1, verse 17, For therein is the righteousness of God revealed from faith to faith, as it is written, The just shall live by faith. Psalm 5, verse 4, For thou art not a God that hath pleasure in wickedness, neither shall evil dwell with thee. Also add to that the entire chapter of Exodus 20. Fourthly, by his own most absolute and most supreme dominion, sovereignty, and infinite perfection, he is, in and of himself, above all law whatsoever, and under the command of none, in heaven or in earth.